Yo, what's up guys, the Insane Game Freak here to bring you another Nostalgia Rush! Kamehameha for Nostalgia Rush for no reason, I don't fucking know, I'm crazy. Anyways, for those who don't know what the Nostalgia Rush is, essentially these are videos where I essentially talk about things in my past and in the 90s past, my childhood that I really liked, and I want to ramble on for about 10 to 20 minutes, and if you get a nostalgia high from it, then the job is done. And I encourage people to post video responses and suggestions for other shows I can mention, because obviously I'm not going to remember every show to cover, but I am going to cover a Cartoon Network classic. Technically it's a Hanna-Barbera classic, right out there with Flintstones and the Jetsons. If you don't know who this dog is, I feel either old or depressed that you were deprived of this character. Mind you, considering he's like one of the only old school cartoons that's still running, but he's just running in a different iteration. There's like 3 or 4 iterations of this character. Actually, there's more than that. It's probably like 10 to 20 because of how many times they either reboot the show or revamp the show in a different way. Especially recently, like within the last 5 or 6 years, there's been like 3 or 4 or 5 different new continuities of the show. And the dog I'm talking about in the series I'm talking about today is Scooby Dooby Doo. Now, a lot of you guys, the most familiar Scooby-Doo continuity I think today is the whole, what's the Scooby-Doo? We're coming after you. We're gonna solve that mystery. And I'm not gonna lie, I like that opening. That's a beast-ass opening. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. That's a cool opening. I could never get back into the show, though. The problem is with Scooby-Doo is that Scooby-Doo is one of those things that can consistently come back because it's really just redoing the same shtick. Because for those who don't know what Scooby-Doo is about, you have these 5 characters. It's kind of a group of teenagers and their dog riding in this van. The van, aka known as the Mystery Machine, because that's what's written on the side of the van. You have Freddy, Daphne, Velma, Shaggy are the 4 humans. And then Scooby-Doo is the dog. And obviously the gimmick is the fact that the dog can talk, but he talks like in broken English. So it's like he talks while putting R's at every one of... Pretty much every word he speaks is English. Every English word he speaks has like R, like row, shag. I can't even do it completely like row, no. I can't do it. Row, fraggy. Raggy. Like, he does the whole R pronunciation in front of his words. He's like, ruh-roh. It's like, roast. Anyways, you have these, that's the premise, that essentially, through their driving around, I don't even know really what the hell they're driving around for. We never really understand that. It's just, I mean, later on they kind of give backdrop and history for some of the characters in the later continuities, and the movies do it too. But it's pretty much teenagers driving around, doing various things, and running across these situations where there are these legends, or there's like some type of ghost or monster haunting, or lurking around a certain area. And the gang's whole thing is that we're gonna solve the mystery, and we're gonna figure out who the ghost is, and we're gonna stop the ghost or whatever. And that's pretty much what Scooby-Doo is about. That's how Scooby-Doo has always been. No matter what iteration of Scooby-Doo you watch, it's supposed to be a mystery/horror show. The problem is, if you've watched the original Scooby-Doo, you know it's more comedy than horror. Not gonna lie, when you look at some of those creatures, they are creepy as fuck when you realize what they look like. Especially some of their new revamped versions that you get in the later iterations of the series. Now I keep saying that because Scooby-Doo is one of those series that that is probably one of the few series that has had ridiculous amount of remakes or random spin-offs. For example, you had the spin-off that essentially had them meeting celebrities, which confused the living shit out of me, but yeah, there was a decent amount of episodes where they were meeting celebrities or other famous Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And it was like, well, this is interesting. Then you also had the split-off series, the 13 Ghosts, the pup named Scooby-Doo, which to me is one of my favorite other Scooby-Doo spin-offs because I fucking love that fucking catch, that theme song, that Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo. That's my shit, son. You can't fuck with that opening. Actually, and I think that's one of the few only spin-offs I actually watched. Because I didn't watch all the spin-offs because there's a lot of spin-offs And also when it comes to the movie, Scooby-Doo had a pretty good solid run through movies, I think, up until the Cyber Chase movie. I think the Cyber Chase movie, to me, if I remember right, was the last good one. Like, I didn't like any of the What's New Scooby-Doo movies, but I did like the original set of Scooby-Doo movies. Like, Zombie Island, Witch's Ghost, Alien Invaders, Cyber Chase. I feel like I'm missing one. The Witch's Ghost is the one that takes place with, like, where the focus is on Velma and the dude that she's messing with, whose, like, grandmother was a Wiccan, but people called her a witch, and then she went through all the effort to defend the fact that she wasn't a witch, and then the dude she was into, Grandma, it pretty much was confirmed that she was a witch, because it was, the cool thing I like is that the show always did the same thing. Every monster they run across in the show was some creep or some dude in the mask who had a whole bunch of ulterior motives to, you know, obviously, I didn't realize how complicated Scooby-Doo is until I try to explain it. You know, they went through the whole concept of going, you know, they usually had some ulterior motive for being in the mask or wearing the creepy suit or having some monster persona. But the movies deviated from the show because the movies focused on real life ghouls and whatnot. That's why, you know, you had a Cyber Chase monster, or you had the actual aliens, which that one I think a lot of people were mixed with, because that one has a weird setup with the whole Shaggy and Scooby love romance aspect that was thrown into that movie. I actually did like that movie. I felt really bad when that movie ended. I was like, oh, this is depressing. I don't want, you know, why y'all gonna do my boys like that? Like, because Shaggy and Scooby are my favorite characters. Maybe because they had the best gags and they were probably the most fleshed out at the time. Because, to be perfectly honest, when you watch Scooby-Doo for the first time on TV, like the original Scooby-Doo, Daphne, Velma, and Freddy are not, like, pushed at all in the sense of development. It actually just seems weird to have them there. That's why there are movie spin-offs within the movies that just focus on Scooby and Shaggy and Scooby's nephew, Scrappy, which, bar none, probably my favorite Scooby-Doo movies, because I've rewatched Scooby-Doo and the Boo Brothers like 18 times. I'm not even bullshitting you. That, Ghoul School, Night of the Werewolf, that is my shit. I don't know what it is, but I am addicted to those movies. Boo Brothers especially. I don't know what it is. I used to say Ghoul School is my favorite out of those. I think Boo Brothers is my favorite because I keep rewatching Boo Brothers. I can literally have Boo Brothers playing on any time of the day, no matter what the fuck I'm doing. And it's like, well, fuck this. I'm watching Boo Brothers. Fuck this. Like, I think there was a portion when I first got my DVD player for the first time, and that was one of the first old school DVDs I bought. I just had that shit just replaying the fucking DVD player for like hours. Like, I would switch off from it and just fucking, you know, watch TV and whatnot. And every once in a while, if I was bored, just flip back. Oh, I'm in the middle of a scene. Oh, I know what scene this is. It's the scene where Billy Bob is chasing Shaggy because what's her name? Something May. I forget the girl's name. The younger sister, who was like into Shaggy during that entire movie, and chase him around the house, or even when they do that later on, where Shaggy's having this monologue about how paranoid it is, and in the background you always see fucking Billy Bob and Annie Mae kind of fighting each other, trying to sneak up on him for two different reasons. The girl sneaking up on him to pretty much make out with him, and her brother sneaking up on him trying to shoot him. And then at the end of the whole monologue, you see fucking the bear come out, and it just scares the crap out. No, it wasn't the bear. It was the skeleton. I'm sorry. The bear thing happens later when they're going to Bear Cave for one of the last clues, and they refund the buggy. All right, see now I'm going off on that because that shit is I swear to God, I love that movie. But I don't know, when it comes to Scooby-Doo's charm really doesn't even come from, to me, came from the fact that it was mixing comedy and horror in such a basic way, to the point where the horror, it was only really creepy because of the characters, because of the way the monsters and ghosts look. Not necessarily because the entire episode was creepy. I mean, if you look at the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, it's literally like a painted background while animating these characters, and you can tell because the characters always look way lighter than the background, and it looked awkward and it clashed like hell, and you're just like, why is Freddy walking, and it feels like he's walking on like a repeating track, and then on top of all that shit, it's just like, the older episodes, to me, the older ones are kind of just there for like bullshit nostalgia. You watch like 1 or 2 and be fine. Most people watch the newer episodes, but most people just watch the movies for Scooby-Doo. Because to me, those are better overall, and they develop the characters. Like, they kind of, like in the first movie, they pretty much explained that Daphne is like, became a news reporter, which made sense because Daphne never made sense why Daphne would just, Daphne's like the ditz. She's like the blonde girl without being the blonde girl. She's like the pretty stupid girl in the group. And I'm like, well, like, why is she here? Like Freddy always came up. Freddy was like the leader. Velma was kind of the smart one, usually calculating and shit. And then you had Shaggy and Scooby, who were kind of just there along for the ride, because a lot of people make the joke that Shaggy is a stoner and Scooby-Doo was the dog. That Scooby-Doo technically didn't talk, and then Shaggy was just high, and Shaggy just thought Scooby could talk. Oh, and Scooby snacks. Oh my God, if you've never heard the term Scooby snacks, get the fuck out. Like, just, I don't understand how you can even be in this age, in my age range, and not heard the term Scooby snacks. Like, and considering, I think isn't there a new Scooby-Doo cartoon on now? Like, I know the cast is going through a ridiculous amount of changes, ridiculous, but I'm just like, it's fucking Scooby. Scooby-Doo is like one of those shows you cannot not know. That's how classic it is. If you don't know what Scooby-Doo is, I'm just like, ooh, you kidding me? Scooby-Doo! Fuck! Like, you can't even explain that. It's just like Scooby-Doo, because that's his catchphrase is him saying his name like a Pokemon when you think about it. Because in the episodes he always goes, Scooby-Doo-Doo! It's like, come on. To me personally though, I think with Scooby-Doo's my favorite stuff when it comes to Scooby-Doo is just the movies more so the TV series, at least for my generation. I like the movies more than I like the TV series, unless I'm watching, because the only TV series I might go back and watch is maybe the Pup Named Scooby-Doo and the original occasionally when I'm bored. I don't know what it was, but like What's New Scooby-Doo tried to take itself a little bit more seriously, and I don't know what it was, but the thing about Scooby-Doo, the biggest problem with Scooby-Doo is that it gets pretty redundant really quick because it's essentially the same thing over and over again. The newer series, I will give them, I think the What's New Scooby-Doo was like the best remake of it. And there's like, I know there's like 2 or 3 more after that one, but I think that one was the best one. Plus that they had a whole bunch of home movie DVDs come out, and it just took the effect away. Because instead of being what the original Scooby-Doo movies were, where the difference between the movies and the show was the fact that in the movies they were fucking with real monsters and shit. The later movies, like the What's New Scooby-Doo movies, started going into the same tradition of pretty much just having longer, elaborate mysteries instead of having real monsters. I think there were elements of real monsters in certain one, like the whole Loch Ness Monster one and shit. But it just didn't work as well to me, even though that technically is the more successful version. I still just like the original Scooby-Doo movies, the Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy spin-offs. The Pup Named Scooby-Doo was my favorite spin-off series, and then the original I'll watch every once in a while. Although it was weird for multiple different reasons, because and does anyone remember that fucking episode where, like, I mean, technically it's a Johnny Bravo episode, but just the fact that those two crossed over for whatever reason, I still don't even understand the obsession with Johnny Bravo. I really don't. But that's just something I thought was interesting. And you know, in terms of the live action movies, I'll go ahead and touch on those two. I don't really hate them as much as people hate them. I know people hate those movies hate those movies a lot. Like, those movies don't get that much praise, even though they're not a complete bastardization. And I will agree that the best character, I mean, mind you, you can only do certain parts of those movies pretty well. Like, I think everyone pretty much said it. The best part of those movies is Shaggy and Scooby, because the way they acted in both movies is traditional Shaggy and Scooby comedy. The problem is, from the original cartoon, Daphne, Velma, and Freddy were flat. So going from this one to live action, they were going to continue to be flat. I actually do like Velma in the second movie though a lot. I like her in the first movie, to be perfectly honest. As I said, I don't have anything against those movies, but you know, still, if you told me, do I need to pick between the cartoon movies and those movies, I'm picking between. I'm going to lean towards the cartoon side, and just to name a few of the cool monsters we got to see. The most iconic one is the Creeper. He's just way too iconic. Like anybody who's seen Scooby-Doo or seen the opening for it, it's just like Creeper. And actually, that's one of the reasons why I like Cyber Chase so much, because Cyber Chase is pretty much like a ode to the original Scooby-Doo series, because at the end of that movie we get to see old school Scooby-Doo, and it's kind of funny to see like movie Scooby-Doo interact with like old TV show Scooby-Doo, where it's like, and I like that gag where like Freddy meets his original, well, his digital old self, and he's like, did I really wear an ascot? Did I really think the ascot was cool? And I was like, dude, no one thought the ascot is cool. People make fun of that ascot now. That's how bad that ascot is. That's one of the reasons why I like Cyber Chase. At least the ending of it. The ending of it was awesome to me. And then old school Scooby and new school Scooby. I don't know why, I just like that kind of shit. But, I don't know, just Scooby-Doo had a really cool mixture of fun and mystery, and Zombie Island, bar none, was fun as fuck to watch. Especially the musical tracks, like, which still angers me. And like, if anyone remembers my old video on my Game Addict channel where I was complaining that they essentially, for like the album for the movie, they essentially switched out the songs. Like, I think a different band did the songs for them than the actual theatrical version. Therefore, I think, what was it? Another ghoul attacks another. What is that? I think it's like The Ghost Doesn't Scare Us or something like that. That song's lyrics is switched. The band that plays that song and the you know there's zombies on the... Terror Time, that's what I'm thinking of. In Terror Time, whoever sung those songs in the movie, they got like a different band to do them because I guess of copyright and licensing restrictions, which pisses me off because the only good version of those songs to me is the movie versions, and the only way you're going to get the movie versions is if you literally rip them off the movie, which sucks because they don't just mute what's happening on screen and just play the song. No, you're hearing like the stuff in the like in the middle of the song you hear Shaggy scream. It's just like, and I'm like, damn it, I want those tracks on my iPod, and I actually do have the ripped movie version of those tracks on the iPod, but they sound like ass, and I know I will never get my authentic full version of that song, and it angers me. But Terror Time and the Ghost, what is it, like, is it the Ghost is a trap, or it's like every time the Ghost is I can't think of it. But I just remember really liking the songs. Anyways, I'm being rambling. I'm rambling overly rambled right now, so let me stop. So essentially, pretty much bottom line, Scooby-Doo, awesome series, but the biggest problem with it is it gets redundant real quick. Like, just the basic premise of episodes get redundant real quick. I think What's New Scooby-Doo was like the best iteration, but the problem is Scooby-Doo is not one of those things you can really rewatch that much when you're older, unless you're rewatching the movies. The movies are the spin-offs. I can rewatch those, but I can't really rewatch the original series that much. I can watch maybe like 3 or 4 episodes in a row, and then after that I'm pretty much done. Like Scooby-Doo, it doesn't take much to be fine with Scooby-Doo. Movies I can rewatch all fucking day, son. Like, and as I said, if you haven't tried out the Shaggy, Scooby, Scrappy side movies, son, favorite movies. I like those movies because it forces Shaggy to be a lot more competent than he usually is. And I actually think it works better because those are like the 2 most popular characters in the Scooby-Doo franchise, is Scooby and Shaggy. Nothing against Velma, Daphne, and Freddy, I'm just saying. Velma is kind of cute, I'm just throwing it out there. Just no hate, bro, no hate. Just chill out. Shots fired, shot fired. I always thought Velma was cuter than Daphne anyway, that's the point. I didn't really pay attention to that much to that kind of shit because it was Scooby-Doo, but still. That's just pretty much my nostalgia rush. I'm going to shut the fuck up now. Please leave your thoughts and comments and video responses in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any suggestions of other shows I should talk about, Let me know. I need to get back on my Nicktoon love because I don't think I've only done. Oh, we probably need to do SpongeBob. SpongeBob is probably gonna be next because there's a lot of things I want to say about SpongeBob because that was the show I was watching religiously since it came out in 1999. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Don't stop. But yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Life's a game, play to win. And actually, you can't do, signing off with Scooby-Dooby-Doo just sounds stupid. And I can't really integrate Scooby-Dooby-Doo into Peace O because Peace O is 2 syllables and Scooby-Dooby-Doo is like, oh Lord. If you have a monster problem, call Mystery Inc. Peace.